Hello and welcome. This is Africa in 10 minutes, where we bring to you the top business news in Africa, courtesy Freeprint to Africa. I am Mirabel Aleladia. Here are the headlines. Kenya's plan to make Nairobi an aviation hub boosted by a $160 million investment. ECOWAS introduces medicines regulatory harmonization project. African Development Bank plans 25 million jobs for youths, launches PYAG initiative. Construction boom in African markets prompts Mantra Group to target smaller operators of heavy machinery. Now the news in detail. Efforts being made by Kenya's government to make Nairobi an aviation hub has received a huge boost from the African Development Bank, which approved a $160 million loan for the expansion of Jomo Kenyatta International Airport. The project entails construction of a 4.9-kilometer second runway to International Civil Aviation Organization Category 2 standards, including connecting taxiways, additional parking stands for aircraft, and an air rescue firefighting unit. The project is designed to improve the reliability of air transport to and from JKIA by reducing delays at peak hours and costly flight diversions arising from incidences on the existing runway, as well as configuration of the existing single runway facility that impedes the airport's operational efficiency. In so doing, the project will enhance regional integration and expand international trade via improved regional and international air connectivity, as well as facilitate high-value exports and imports, increase tourist earnings, and advance Kenya's economy towards the middle-income status. As part of the airport's broader expansion and modernization set forth in the JKIA 2010 Master Plan, the project ties in with the development objectives and priorities of the government's Vision 2030, the bank's strategy, and the High Five priorities, all of which lend support to projects that enhance economic efficiency, regional integration, and facilitate international trade. On completion, the project will significantly increase tourism and business travel annually by 4.2% between 2026 and 2052, while two-way cargo traffic is projected to annually grow by 5.1% over the same period. Together, growth arising from aviation, tourism, and floriculture is estimated to generate about 1.5 million US jobs and add approximately $22.7 billion in added value to the national GDP. West African countries have launched a health initiative dubbed Medicines Regulatory Harmonization Project, MRHP, to ensure smooth and standard registration of medicines produced in the sub-region. Ghana's Deputy Health Minister, Kingsley Aboagye-Gedu, said the intent of all these efforts in the sub-region is to ensure that regulatory oversight on medicines imported and produced locally are stringently monitored and the high incidence of the substandard falsified medicines circulating in our markets are reduced to the barest limits. The quality of life of the population is very important, and it depends equally on the type of medicines they take. We therefore look forward to seeing that the capacities of the regulatory authorities on the continent are developed to mitigate challenges and risks associated with healthcare, he added. The project is meant to ensure rapid access to safe and effective medicines of good quality to treat priority diseases and fast-track registration of such products. The officials will adopt a common standard that will allow each country the power to register medicines that can be used across the sub-region. Health officials have been working on developing the common registration procedure for close to 5 years. Led by the NEPAD agency through the Technical Working Group on Medicines Policy and Regulatory Reforms in a collaboration with West African Union Commission AUC, Regional Economic Communities RECs, Pan-African Parliament, as well as partners such as the World Health Organization, United Nations Development Programme, World Bank, and the Bill and Melinda Gates, the gathering will also be a platform to discuss the African Union Model Law and other documents developed so far. The President's African Development Bank Group, Dr. Akinwumi Adesina, has launched the Presidential Youth Advisory Group, PYAG, an initiative that is expected to create about 25 million jobs. PYAG, launched on the sidelines of the 6th EU Africa Business Forum in Abidjan, would provide insights and innovative solutions for job creation for Africa's youth as outlined in the bank's Job for Youth in Africa strategy, JFYA. The Jobs for Youth in Africa initiative aims to benefit 50 million youth over the next 10 years by equipping them with the right skills to get decent and meaningful jobs. It is currently the largest effort going on for youth employment in Africa. This is a huge opportunity for Africa. If we fix the youth unemployment challenge, Africa will gain 10 to 20% annual growth. Africa has an unemployment crisis amongst its youth, he stressed. He noted that unless employment opportunities are created for them, Africa's rapidly growing population of youth can give rise to serious social, economic, political, and security challenges. Africa's youth, though strong and dynamic, cross the deserts of the Mediterranean Sea because they do not find decent jobs in Africa. Graduates are wandering in the streets, jobless. The low level of employment opportunities is also fueling violence and extremism in Africa. 40% of Africa's youths engage in armed violence, join gangs or terrorist groups because of limited opportunities in the country, Adesina said. 66 million African youths earn less than $2 a day, less than the price of a hamburger, the bank president emphasized. Markets across the African continent are deepening investments in the construction industry, prompting suppliers of heavy machinery like Mantra Group to capitalize on stakeholders are terming as a sectoral boom. Caterpillar Mantrac, a subsidiary of Mantrac Group, which holds dealerships in Ghana, Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Russia, Tanzania, Uganda, Egypt, and Iraq, has this week announced plans to target smaller construction sector enterprises in the new range of loaders. The distributor has launched what it deems a more affordable version, its F2 series backhoe loader, in a bid to target the smaller operators with a range of features purpose-built for African and Middle Eastern markets. With this cutting-edge technology and the productivity of the 426 F2, we project our market share to grow in this category of equipment, said Conor Timmermans, Caterpillar's managing director for the Middle East. That sums up the news for the week. Sit back for the recap. Kenya's plan to make Nairobi an aviation hub boosted by a $160 million investment. ECOWAS introduces medicines regulatory harmonization project. African Development Bank plans 25 million jobs for youths, launches PYAG initiative. Construction boom in African markets prompts Mantra Group to target smaller operators of heavy machinery. To keep up with the trending business news in Africa, stay connected. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and connect with us on LinkedIn. These news reports are called From Footprint to Africa. For daily updates and more business news in Africa, log on to www.footprinttoafrica.com today. Footprint to Africa, business news made in Africa by Africans.